Hello and welcome to Collect Jurassic World. I'm Victoria.
And this is Tim.
And we are your hosts on this adventure through all things Jurassic World.
That includes toys and collectibles, as well as movie, TV, and community updates.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the park is open.
Welcome back to the island, visitors. Please be sure you are socially distancing and remember to always wear a mask. And as a reminder, official Jurassic World face masks are available in the nearest gift shop.
It's been a busy month here at the park, and we're waiting on the next shipment of assets from Isla Sorna, as well as preparing a little bit for the busy holiday season that we're anticipating here at the park. So what is the progress on those assets, Tim?
Well, it's been a long wait, but let's get right into asset tracking and talk about those dinosaurs that are just around the corner. So we're coming to the end of 2020 here. Between you and me, we've probably collected hundreds of Jurassic World toys at this point. Maybe not this year, but over time, right? But there's still a few more left for the year.
Yeah. Some new stuff has been hitting in Germany and Mexico, stuff that we haven't yet seen in the U.S.
Nope.
So, yeah, really interesting and, not really a shocker. We've seen this sort of pattern a couple of times in the past, haven't we?
Right. Yeah, and I'm cool with it. I mean, I feel like here in the U.S. we're totally spoiled with toys, so I'm never like too bitter when they start showing up everywhere else. I mean, at this point with these toys, I'm kind of like, come on, something show up here. But we're talking about attack packs, attack packs, sound strikes, massive biters, all like this final wave of 2020 that just kind of is eluding us here in the U.S. yet. But there's some good ones in there, like the Trudon. I mean, it looks awesome.
Yeah. Brand new species we haven't seen Trudon before. I always love seeing that. I don't mind them doing repaints, but if each wave has something new to offer that we haven't seen before, I think that's really cool.
Right. And I think like technically this Soundstrike wave, it doesn't really have anything new. I think there's a Pteranodon, which I'm kind of over Pteranodons from Mattel at this point. I have too many.
Yes.
They're hard to display.
Oh, yeah.
They don't really like scale right with the human figures. They're like giant Pteranodons. So I'm kind of over it. Another Triceratops, which I'm sure most people would agree, like, we have a lot of Triceratops now. But there is a new Baryonyx Grim from Camp Cretaceous. Even has a name. I think we'll talk a little bit about Camp Cretaceous later in the show. But it's kind of a new figure. It's a sound strike, so that it has like some retooling.
Yeah. I don't mind it being back in the line again if it is a little bit different. Like you're saying, this is Soundstrike. We haven't seen a Baryonyx in the Soundstrike format. So...
yeah.
It's I don't think anybody was chomping at the bit for another Baryonyx, but if they're going to do it, like I said, make it a little different.
Yeah. One little thing that I think some people will probably appreciate, toy photographers mainly, is this one will have the articulated jaw that's not like tied to an action mechanism, so you can close the jaw and pose it that way, which is kind of nice for people that have to throw a toothpick or something in the button to make the other one close.
I know the feeling.
That comes at a trade, and it's a trade-off because then you have the Soundstrike action that's kind of hard to pose anyway.
Yeah, definitely. So we also have this Gallimimus repaint. This is an attack pack. And I've kind of been wondering, I think we've both talked about it before. We haven't seen Gallimimus in the line in quite some time.
Right. And we had so many that first year, which is kind of funny. But I guess it's kind of, you kind of see with these toys, they definitely favor carnivores or popular herbivores. So it's not surprising. But this Gallimimus looks awesome for one big reason, and that is the paint job.
Yeah. So this is a tribute to what Kenner did back in the old days. Was it 93 or 94 that original one?
Probably 94.
I think it was 94. Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is very much inspired by that. It is the original attack pack sculpt. So for me, that was a very problematic sculpt because they are very hard to stand.
Yeah.
But, nonetheless, it's nice to see Gallimimus again. I do hope that eventually we're able to see that fantastic legacy Gallimimus somehow again.
Yeah. I mean, if they had done this paint deco that is straight up like just like a pitch perfect remake of the Series 2 Kenner Gallimimus, if they had put in this paint application on the like the Savage Strike or whatever you call it, Legacy, like that would have been just one of the best figures they'd ever done, I think.
Oh, yeah. Missed opportunity.
Yeah. But what's cool about this paint job is, we've got a lot of like, winks and nods to like things in the franchise through Mattel's paint jobs where it's like, oh, that looks like, from the arcade game, or that totally looks like this Kenner toy. And I think you can always kind of debate if that's, they were probably going for that. But like with this one, it's like, oh no, they straight up were doing the exact same paint job from the Kenner figure. So that's really cool.
Yeah. No, it is a nice tribute. We love seeing those little Easter eggs thrown into our toy lines.
And it is a Camp Cretaceous figure too. So maybe, I don't know about you, but like I've kind of noticed that a lot of the Camp Cretaceous toys we got color-wise then didn't necessarily show up that way in the show. So hard to say if this Gallimimus will actually like even be in the show, let alone with this paint application. Right.
Yeah, it would be interesting.
Yeah, it would be. I would love a nice like Gallimimus stampede scene or even a feeding scene or something in the show, but we'll just have to wait and see. One other kind of part of this wave I wanted to talk about was massive biters. So there's a repainted Sarcosuchus, which I think was a super popular figure. We're already getting a repaint of it within 12 months. And then Albertosaurus, third version of the Albertosaurus we've gotten, but this is a massive biter. So no battle damage here. It's got like an actual mechanism where you move the tail around and the head moves. Everything you'd kind of expect with Primal Attack.
That's really cool.
So yeah, all these figures are showing up in a couple different places. I definitely know Germany, Mexico, Belgium, Italy. They've kind of popped up everywhere. Wow. Chile. Yeah, they've popped up everywhere. So let's just hope that we're right around the corner here in the U.S.
Yeah, let's hope so. We're due for another wave of these. It's been a long time since we've had any, especially, this larger, massive biter scale. It's been a long time, so...
Right, I think Sayats was the last one we got that was brand new.
That was over the summer, yeah.
But yeah, there's just a lot of toys kind of holding up the shelf right now, including some toys that haven't been around in a while.
Yeah, and this is really interesting. Going back to 2018, the humans were such a big part of the line, and if you go to Target still, you're still going to find humans as part of what they're carrying. Unfortunately, for whatever reason, Target didn't seem to get the Dino Rivals packaging on the humans. Mm-hmm. But they must have ordered tons of them, and they're still working through, 2 years later, that original batch or whatever sitting in their warehouses, because there's been a resurgence in the appearance of Maisie and Wheatley showing up at Target all of a sudden.
Yeah, it's strange. And I wonder if it really is like a old shipment or if they just made more figures with Fallen Kingdom packaging, because at one point when Franklin, rest in peace, was going to be an action figure, like the rumor was that it would be part of a wave that kind of brought back Maisie and Claire and all these other sort of harder to find figures.
Right.
But we all know how that went. So
True.
I wonder if this is sort of like the remnants of that, like Maisie's. I don't know. But I think you're one of the at least half a dozen, if not more, people I've personally seen on social media like find Maisie in the past couple months at Target. So it's definitely not like an isolated thing.
Yeah, on 2 occasions now, which is funny because in 2018 I only found her once. On one time I went to Target, they had her on the shelf, and I bought her. That's the only one that I ever saw. So here we are 2 years later, and she's back. And Wheatley was never too hard for me to find. They were always kind of mixed in here and there, but haven't seen him in a long time. Yeah. So no, I the first time I saw them, I bought them because I like having extras. And the second time, our pal Nick, who lives here locally in San Diego, said, "Hey, I could use those," so I grabbed them for him. And I don't know if I'll see them again, but hey, anything's possible.
Yeah, you just never know what's going to pop up these days as far as old stock. And Maisie is always going to be a popular figure, just a testament to like what short packing a figure can do for its desirability amongst collectors. Maisie's not necessarily like some cool action hero figure you'd use in your toy photography all the time or anything like that. But she's kind of a cool little set with that skull and everything. Yes. So I can understand the popularity of it. And it's just another reason why they shouldn't fill cases with Owen.
Yeah, totally. That that should have been a day one thing. But yeah, we know how that went with Owen and, being such a huge part of this Mattel line, not only, the first year, but, even after that.
Yeah, and I'm anxious to see kind of how Dominion plays that out. I mean, we know there's all these other characters coming out, that are going to be featured in the film. How much are they going to lean on Owen? Merchandising wise, we still see them slap it on the packaging, and it's like, I personally, and maybe this is just our narrow collector point of view, but like, I feel like the people have spoken, and like, we're good with Owen. But and it's not just us. It's like, you go to this toy shelves and that's who's on the shelf. It's like, I hope next time that's addressed, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Changing gears here a little bit to talk about some sort of holiday-centric stuff between like some deals going on, which, whether you're listening to this show right when it comes out or probably in a couple weeks, there'll probably be some sort of deals going on. But on the seasonal front, there is a new Jurassic World tree ornament this year. I think there's been one like basically every year since Jurassic World came out. We had Indominus, we had T-Rex, and now they have Blue showing up at like Amazon and Walmart and Target, kind of getting the full rollout, which is kind of cool. Little $8 or $9 figurine, but pretty nifty. I love this stuff. I actually buy it to put on my tree. I don't buy it to collect.
Yeah, same here. When it comes to ornaments, I've always been a little bit more of a traditionalist. I like everything being uniform on the tree, but every year I do buy, one or two like unique ornaments. And so, if you look at my tree, once it's up, there will be different things on there that you'll see. And, that includes these Jurassic ornaments as well.
Right. And I like that, like, you have an Indominus and T-Rex. I always make them fighting each other. But now we have Blue, who's like the same scale, like a giant blue, basically. So she'll have to go somewhere else on the tree. But it's a nice little figure. Have you picked it up yet or seen it?
I haven't seen it yet, no.
Well, it is at Target, and I think, I know it's at Walmart, and it was on Amazon here and there. It's a nice little figure. It really does have a decent amount of detail. I think some of that T-Rex we got the past couple of years is a little budget looking, but this Blue actually looks pretty nice. I'd say. Nice.
Well, I'm gonna try and go tomorrow if I can get up early enough. So if they do, I'll take a look.
Yeah, it's a good one. And then, kind of moving on from more holiday stuff is just deals we've been seeing. And, collectors out there, I'm sure, are paying attention to, what they see on the internet with, ads being shared. But there's just so much going on right now in terms of, like, what you can save money on with Jurassic toys. I know Target has done a ton of stuff, and they're doing, like, a BOGO right now.
Yeah, they are. So right now it's buy two, get one free, or if you want to interpret that as buy two for the price of three. And Amazon has capitalized on that, and they're running a very similar promotion on their website.
And I feel like Epic Roarin' Rex has been like marked down from its $40 SRP for like a month now to kind of in preparation for the holidays. It's kind of gotten discounted, price matched across the board.
It's such a good toy. Somebody actually commented on my review from over the summer just today, somebody that was writing in from Switzerland. And he said, "Hey, Victoria, I've been buying these since 93, and this is my favorite T-Rex of all time."
Wow. So, yeah, it's a good one. Yeah. It's definitely if you look at all these toy ads for like Walmart, for like Amazon, for Kohl's, like they all feature this figure prominently. So I don't know if like Mattel had to sell their soul or if the T-Rex is just that popular, because it's everywhere on advertising right now, which is cool because it's a great toy.
Yeah, it is. I think it's popular. They always seem to sell through at my local Target. So
yeah. And I've literally seen kids like lose it like in the toy aisle being excited for it. So that's always kind of fun to see. Does it get the Black Friday deal treatment? No, it doesn't. At least not that we know of quite yet. I mean, there always could be more ads coming out for a Black Friday deal, but we do know of one, and that's at Target Black Friday, $20 Indominus Rex, normally $40. That's a pretty good deal. It's an old toy, technically old in air quotes, but
Yeah, no, that it is old, but they did refresh it in Primal Attack packaging for this year. So clearly Mattel saw the demand for it and they wanted to keep it in circulation. And no, just as fantastic a toy, honestly. And if I were to come across one for that price point, I couldn't resist buying an extra one for $20.
Yeah, I want one in the Primal Attack packaging. So if that's what's available at my Target come Black Friday, I'll probably be picking one up.
Yeah, or if Amazon matches the price, and you could get one in the shipper.
Yeah, totally. I'm anxious to see how that plays out. But great figure in any case, even if it's kind of from last year. Indominus Rex continues to just be a popular species in the franchise, and obviously a popular toy.
Definitely, and part of that I would say is also due to Camp Cretaceous.
Oh yes, of course. And we'll talk a little bit more about the Camp Cretaceous version of Indominus later.
So what happens when Mattel Jurassic World dinosaurs break out of their cages and seek freedom? Tim, tell us what happens.
They escape, as in Dino Escape, as in Mattel's supposed 2021 toy line name. Literal Dino Escape is what it's called. And we've gotten Dino Rivals from after Fallen Kingdom. We got Primal Attack this year, and it seems like Dino Escape is the next sort of sub collection, if you will, ahead of Jurassic World Dominion. I mean, we're just kind of observers here, being collectors. We don't know what's going on behind the scenes with Jurassic World Dominion being delayed. What that effect has on the toy line, but it sounds like whatever pieces they were able to pick up, it's going to be a toy line called Dino Escape.
Yeah. Based on the name, it definitely sounds like something they might have done at the last minute. Obviously, a lot of things have changed this year. Like you said, Dominion has been postponed for the following year. So, no doubt Mattel had plans already laid out for Dominion. I'm sure they had everything ready to go. Whether or not it was actually put into production, who knows? But this definitely seems like something that they, had to cobble together. I mean, it's not just Mattel too. I mean, any company that was designing a toy line for a movie next year, they've had to do this too. So,
right.
Yeah.
It is worth mentioning that Dino Escape is actually trademarked by Universal, whereas like Primal Attack and Dino Rivals were just sort of a thing with Mattel. Dino Escape was actually so we could see some more Dino Escape things, I guess that's what I'm saying. Like we could see Dino Escape betting or, Dino Escape frisbees. I don't know. It's not just Mattel kind of spearheading this sub brand. So it's interesting. And we don't know, at this point in the year, Victoria, we would already know like the first wave of toys coming for next year. Like we would know that. And we don't know anything right now. Besides this name and like a couple rumors. I mean, we talk about leaks a little bit here on the show. I know we've talked about them before. And without going into too much detail, like we know that this Dino Escape line is going to have, some new assortments.
Yeah, and that's always interesting to look at because even though the names change in these assortments, they're oftentimes in the spirit of what came the previous year.
Exactly.
So it looks like we're going to see a little bit of that, but there's also some things that maybe are different here. So that makes me especially eager to see what's going to be happening.
Right. I mean, like you said, we have this Wild Pack, which is probably some sort of attack pack assortment. So Wild Pack, at least, is the tentative name. And then we have these human packs, which is, I think, probably the most exciting thing about all of this speculation, is the human packs, which are... it seems like they're going to be sort of rooted in Camp Cretaceous, which makes sense if you were, Universal and Mattel and you just lost Jurassic World Dominion as your major toy release, you'd probably grab on to Camp Cretaceous.
Yeah, and if this is a toy line that's going to be based, if this is a toy line that they had to do, pretty quickly, I'm sure it's going to have a lot of reuse, a lot of repaints, maybe some repacks. Right. So I wouldn't be shocked if, in addition to Camp Cretaceous, maybe we got some previous humans in these dino packs as well.
Right. Yeah.
These human packs.
Totally. And I hope that if they do sort of repack humans, I'd like to see a couple little tweaks. Like I'd like to see maybe Claire with like a little bit more weathering or something. You know, like I mean they've had this successful toy line. I feel like they could maybe, you know, indulge us a little bit and maybe just like go back and slightly revisit some of these figures to make them, you know, worth collecting again.
Yeah, I mean the Claire with the green jacket, I mean that hasn't been out since 2018 in the story pack. So I mean I definitely can see how some people might, you know, want to buy them if they did bring them back and just mixed it up a little bit to change them up.
Right. And as I say that, I regret saying that. Careful what you wish for. I'm going to be like tracking down slight variations of human figures next year. Well, she's got, you know, a brown colored pocket on the new version. So, so the humans is definitely the most exciting part of like sort of the rumored lineup for next year. But we also have Roar Attack, which is obviously like Soundstrike-esque figures, or Roarivore figures, if you will. And then we have Mega Destroyers, Massive Biters. Sort of just went to the thesaurus and picked out a couple new words. So, and then maybe some more. I mean, we know that there's always some big dinosaur figures that come out too. So,
maybe we'll get another T-Rex.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to imagine where they would go from Epic Roaring T-Rex. I don't know. It's like
color changing T-Rex.
That would be cool. I mean, or like a, you know, maybe like a really, really like a little bit more purposeful Lost World T-Rex would be awesome. So who really knows what'll happen. Again, Dominion being delayed will kind of throw everyone's plans in disarray. So but they have to release something, so we'll see.
Maybe it's like a bull T-Rex, but then if you submerge in water it turns into the female Rex.
You're really into that color changing thing, aren't you?
Yeah.
You really want that to be a thing.
Come on, Mattel, do it.
That would make more sense with Indominus than it would T-Rex for me. But yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's just, as you know, Collect Jurassic, that my bread and butter is covering new toy releases and all that stuff. And it's been kind of a weird year as it winds down. It's like, normally we'd have all this stuff from Comic-Con to obsess over. And it's like, I don't know. I know just as much as you do, Victoria, as far as like what's gonna hit in January and February as far as new Mattel toys.
We just don't know. I mean, you know, companies like Hasbro have, you know, in lieu of Comic-Con, you know, they've been doing their own thing, you know, with like Hasbro PulseCon and like, you know, these Fan First Fridays that they do where they announce new product and you know, so we know a little bit with what's coming with some of our other favorite toy lines, but with Jurassic we're kind of flying blind at the moment.
Right. And I think it's worth mentioning with Hasbro, it's not just Star Wars. They did that with Transformers. They did it with Ghostbusters. They've done it with like
Marvel,
all of their G.I. Joe. Like they've done it with everything. I mean, not to take Mattel to task here, but it's like you have this collector line and nothing gets collectors more excited than announcements, and nothing kind of makes that more of a direct thing than kind of doing what Hasbro did with those fan first, kind of live reveals. Like that's just so cool. I know Mattel Jurassic collectors would totally be down for something like that. And it's not like it's some, you know, high budget thing where you have to rent a event space and you know, it's like you just have your designers get on the webcam and like show off some stuff. Like
set up a Zoom meeting.
Right. So
this has definitely been the year of the live stream. It's been the year of you know, these companies in many cases like engaging with fans on a different level than they have before. But I'm a little bit sad that Mattel hasn't been a little bit more, you know, following in those footsteps as well, you know, doing what some of these other companies are doing, because I think there's a lot of opportunity there. And like you said, it's not to take them to task. It's just something that's kind of noticeable when, you know, all these other companies are doing it. So,
and we just want to know what the toys are. We just want to know.
That's all we want to know. What are the toys? What can we get excited about spending lots of money on?
Exactly. It's about the hype. So I guess maybe if the problem is they need some talent, they need a couple people to sort of talk people through the new releases. I can think of two co-hosts that would probably be very comfortable getting on camera, getting on microphone and doing that. So Mattel, if you need some, some star talent for your fan first version of Jurassic, me and Victoria can totally handle it.
We're here, Mattel. Hit us up.
Yeah, we're here. And one more thing about Dino Escape. Again, like all of this stuff is just sort of, it's up in the air. I don't know what's real. I don't know what's real anymore. There were a couple images that hit the internet recently of 2 Velociraptor figures, all new Velociraptor figures. One looks like a Lost World raptor. One looks like something real out there. But I'm just assuming those are Dino Escape releases. We don't know, but they look pretty cool to me. I mean, both of them, in my opinion, have sort of merit as far as being repaints.
Yeah. Yeah, so one of them, or I guess they're both in the Savage Strike realm. They're the 2 Savage Strikes that we've seen before in terms of sculpt. Mm-hmm. This raptor, the one that follows the what do we even call that? That was like the Dino Rival Savage Strike raptor.
Yeah, like, wait, the slashing one or the
slashing one? Slashing one. Yeah. So yeah, you're right. It's, I don't know. It almost feels like it's a little bit of like it takes some inspiration from like what Kenner did for the Lost World, like the the one raptor. Mm-hmm. I don't even remember what it was called.
Oh, what was it? It was like a strike raptor or something. I know what you're talking about. The big like heavy one, right?
Yeah.
Electronic.
Yeah, it was like...
possibly pregnant. I don't know. It's a very bulky raptor. But yeah, I've heard 3 theories about what this like Mattel raptor could be, and it's Lost World Velociraptor. It's a novel inspired raptor, so like the coloration, I guess, is like spot on for what's described in Michael Crichton's novel. And the third one is that it's just Echo, because we all know how like Echo colorations are just out there, and this is like close enough to the Amber Collection one that it could be Echo.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'd like it to be the tiger stripe one, but these look more like zebra stripes to me than tiger stripes.
Right. I don't know if that's just them working with the like stencils they have for patterning. Like I don't know how that stuff works. No, it does look like striping that we have on other figures. But I'm with you. I hope it's the Tiger Raptor, because the Tiger Raptor we got from Mattel, I mean, it was cool when it came out, but kind of seeing what they can do with the toy line, I'm really hoping for an upgrade.
Yep. And the other one, the Leaping Raptor, this one's a little bit more wild looking. It's like red with like yellow, like hot, like really flashy yellow stripes. It'll fit in really nicely with that purple Attack Pack Raptor.
Yeah, it's definitely got some wild, vibrant colorations. There's a couple other figures like the purple Dilophosaurus that'll just fit right in next to. It's kind of like that chaos effect aesthetic, really.
They can make a band.
Yeah, right. They can all have their own spot on the shelf together. But I mean, I'm not like super excited about this figure, but I guess what I'm looking at it from is like, well, is this going to be 2021 sort of approach to paint? Is some more wild, splashy colors? Because I'm okay with that. I would like to see more of that. I'm just not a big fan of the jumping raptor mold in general, so I can't get excited about it.
No, it was fine for 2018, but I didn't really want to see it like over and over. So
right.
I was disappointed that Echo uses the one that they call Echo for this year uses that mold. I was like, oh gosh, because they have this really nice mold from last year that they gave us the other 3 Raptor Pack members in, and for Echo not to have that mold and use the leaping one, it's really frustrating.
Unless this other Raptor's Echo, we don't know. So we'll have to wait and see. Again, we just don't know.
We just don't know. When it shows up on the shelves, then we'll know.
Right.
In Chile. All right, let's wander over to the trophy room and see what Tim and I have been adding to our collections.
Yeah.
So it leads, coming off the topic of raptors that we just ended on in our previous segment, we have some raptors to talk about, don't we?
Yeah, let's just keep talking about Echo, right? Amber Collection, a new figure, and surprise, surprise, it's a raptor.
Surprise, surprise, it's a raptor. So we have 2 different species in Amber Collection over the past year plus. And many of them are raptors, and one's a Dilophosaurus. So,
and humans.
And human. Well, yes, as far as the dinos go, just 2. And it's not too unbelievable. I mean, it's easy to repaint these raptors and get your money's worth out of the mold.
Yeah.
But
they're pushing it.
They're pushing it, but now at least we can say that the squad is complete with Echo.
Right. exactly. And Echo is it's kind of been received with a little bit of controversy because it's so far off from the film version's coloration. And I've never really gotten too hung up on the Raptor Squad coloration deviations, but this one appears to be pretty flagrant.
Yeah, this is very interesting. I know we talked about that leaping Echo previously, and we said, "Hey, this doesn't look like Echo."
Mm-hmm. Is there an Echo in here?
There might be more than one.
Yeah, I'm hearing a lot of echoes in here. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, so this to me looks more like it's a tribute to Kenner's 1993 Raptors, and it looks like Echo.
Yeah, and I've heard people say this one looks like the Tiger Raptor. So I don't know. It's all over the place. I know there's some Camp Cretaceous like promotional art that shows the Raptor Squad, and this one does sort of what am I trying to say here? It sort of resembles that Camp Cretaceous Raptor, this figure does, but it's still missing like some more some more vibrant color. It's just too dull, I guess. It's interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I think like just as a standalone Raptor, I think it's really nice. It's just not Echo.
Right. And I don't know. I mean, for my sake, I feel like, blue is blue. Yeah. Charlie was a little like kind of neon for me. Delta, I loved as a Raptor figure, but I didn't see it and say, oh, that's Delta from Jurassic World. And that's kind of how I feel about Echo. It's like, I love this as a Raptor figure with cool coloration. But I don't know about it, reminding me perfectly of the Raptor Squad, but it's an awesome figure, and it's awesome to finally have the squad complete.
Yeah. At the end of the day, it is nice to have the squad complete. But this isn't it. Mattel can go further using this mold. Even though it is a very Jurassic World specific head sculpt, more specifically to blue. Yeah. If they wanted to continue and give us Tiger Raptor, give us an update on the Jurassic Park Raptor that actually looks like the Jurassic Park Raptor.
Yeah.
I mean, there's multiple ways they could continue, utilizing the sculpt. So, now that we have the squad, it'll be interesting to see what comes next.
Yeah, I think collectors would riot in the streets if they come out with another Raptor next. So they better take a break.
I know what it is.
What? Pteranodon, right?
No, it's going to be the same Dilophosaurus that we already got, but it's going to be purple, just like the Savage Strike Dilophosaurus.
Yeah, that's like the quickest way to just like dive bomb this toy line into the ground. Like you're done collecting Raptors. Now here's a purple Dilophosaurus.
Hey, but it won our Jurassic Clash.
Did it?
Yes.
Did it? I think we need to recount. I think we're going to need to recount.
Too close to
That's
call.
Funny. Yeah, it's too close. But yeah, I mean, I just think they need to do a different species, and I believe they are. I think Pteranodon's next, based on like what you can pre-order from, toywiz.com. I think Pteranodon's next. I mean, we'll see.
I want a Gallimimus.
Just like a Gallimimus would be awesome. Yes, that would be such a good figure, and it would be kind of big too. I mean, it would be as big as the Raptors. That'd be a nice one. I'd totally be into that, and I'd probably buy more than one.
That's the thing. If it's you'd have to.
Yeah. Because the Legacy Collection Gallimimus is with the coloration and the sculpt is already a pretty impressive figure, like we were talking about earlier. So if they did like a articulated version with like the big kind of movie eyes and that sort of like squared off mouth that the Jurassic Park version has, like that'd be a hot figure.
It would. To me, that we're talking again about that Legacy Gallimimus. To me, that's a perfect toy. Like that toy couldn't have been any better than it turned out. Totally. So if they took that and migrated it over to Amber, minus the action feature because that's not what Amber's about, but just maintain that and bring it over with the rubbery
proportions
tail
and all that stuff.
Yeah, I know a lot of people would love it.
Yeah, I mean they have a few kind of medium-sized species they can explore yet, but I definitely think they're going to need to start spreading their wings with bigger species. There's nowhere else to go, I guess.
Oh yeah, we can't wait for those Triceratops and Stegosauruses and that are obviously based off the first couple of films, of course. But.
Right, and that's like kind of the toss-up too. Is like, would we get a Gallimimus that looked like a Jurassic World Gallimimus, but painted like a Jurassic Park Gallimimus? I hope not. So,
yeah, or a Stegosaurus from Jurassic World.
Well, and I say that because the Lost World Stegosaurus is just so good. Like, it was so good. And that's why I react so violently to the Jurassic World one. But Amber collection, it's the Raptor collection, so we'll see. We'll see. But elsewhere in the trophy room, I got some Snap Squads I tracked down from Target. I love Snap Squads. I'm trying to collect every single one. And they're becoming easier and easier to find because they're at Target now. But the new wave for Camp Cretaceous has a pretty cool, like, kind of Easter egg. It doesn't even really get explained well on the packaging. The Snap Squad Parasaurolophus has this really cool color changing effect. Hey, there you go. Where you can run it under hot or cold water, and like its horn changes color, sort of like the Camp Cretaceous photophosphorescent effect that it has in the show, which is really cool.
Yeah, I beyond the very first wave of Snap Squad, I pretty much have been ignoring them for a really long time. But now that they have like this reflective, or I don't even know what you would call it, like metallic, like coloring.
Yeah,
like,
they make it. Yeah, they're nice.
Yeah, like that's what that drew me to them again, and I've been buying them as a result of how nice those look.
That's interesting.
Yeah, but no, that Parasaurolophus is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that about the metallic paint, because I think when I first saw Snap Squad figures, I was a little underwhelmed because it just seemed like, like simpler versions of the figures you already had with way more kind of cartoony style, which I'm like, I'm not about that. But I still got after them because I'm just, I'm collecting everything. But the metallic ones I feel like were just immediately kind of more eye-catching to me. Even the ones of blue that I already had. It's like the metallic one, the Mosasaurus. I mean, the metallic versions just look great. Carnotaurs too. So maybe they're tapping into something with that.
Yeah. No, they're fun. They're fun. I'm kind of in the same boat. I'm more of a realistic sort of person. I like things that look like they do in the film. But it's that paint. Maybe they'll bring it over to the main line and do some more fun stuff.
Yeah, I kind of thought like Toy Fair last year that was going to be sort of a thing, because at Toy Fair they had the Parasaurolophus, the Soundstrike Parasaurolophus out. They had these Snap Squads out, and they had Echo out, who has metallic paint on that. So I was like, oh, maybe that's what's going to be like the new thing. But it only showed up in a few figures, but it's showing up in every Snap Squad now, which is cool. There's also a Stiggy Moloch that came out in this latest wave. That's pretty cool. It's like red and shiny, big yellow eyes. I like it. I'm totally have sticky fatigue, but I was all about Snap Squad.
Yeah, no, that's a fun one too. I've been buying them. I know that there's other people that have been looking out for them too, now that they're incorporating a few more fun features. So yeah, I wonder where it'll go in the future.
Yeah, me too. It seems like it kind of took its time getting started, but now it's sort of ramped up into an assortment that everyone is into, and a lot of people can now find. So that's good. On to bigger things. You've tracked down a couple large figures.
Yeah, so I made the mistake of ignoring Super Colossal Blue. I always had the intention of adding her to the collection. She came out about a year ago. I think it was August last year, so August, September. Online. I never saw it in stores. So it was an online thing, it seemed like, for the most part. So I always had the intention of adding her to the collection. I said, next week, next month, it's just such a big piece. And as this line has gone on, it's been harder and harder to find, homes here in the house for a lot of the stuff. So I procrastinated too long, like I sometimes do. And it sold out. It just, nobody had it anymore. Miraculously, Amazon got them back in stock, but it was one of those, weird Amazon things where, if you click the link, it just goes to a picture of a dog and says, oops, something happened. Something's wrong. Here's the dog of Amazon or something. And our friend Greg, who, we had to throw in his name here somewhere, of course.
Yeah.
Was kind enough to say, hey, well, I actually bought it before, so I still have it, and I can press the buy it again button and get one to you. So I was like, yeah, let's do that. So
I think he asked me when he did it, he's like, you think she'll be mad that I did that? And I was like, no, she'll be fine.
Yeah. So no, it was really, really cool. Really happy that he did that. And now the link is working. So if anybody needs, as of now, anyway, she's back in stock, $54.99.
Yeah.
But it wasn't just blue, Tim. I finally added the Super Colossal Indominus to my collection.
Right. I think I was hassling you last show to get that one because blue, I collect everything, so I bought it. But I wasn't like, oh, this is awesome. But Indominus, oh my gosh, that figure is beautiful.
Yeah, it is stunning. The first time I saw it was at Target because, they've been doing a good job of keeping it in stock at the store.
Yeah.
And I was blown away. Like, I had my friend with me at the time, and she's not really into like collecting anything. So, but I said, hey, come check this out. Like, I called her over, and she looked at it, and she's like, you need to buy that. She's like, you need to get that.
It's impressive.
It is super impressive, and So now that it's here, I don't know that I'm gonna win or I'll be able to open these two, but oh man, the box is just gorgeous though. Like in the Camp Cretaceous box, it just looks awesome.
Yeah, it's a cool one to keep boxed up. I think blue is a cool one to keep boxed up too. They did a good job of sort of breaking them down so that kids can look at them and obviously collectors can appreciate them in the box.
Yeah.
While still kind of being economical about the shelf space because you pop them out of there and you put the legs and tail on and then it's like ready to go. But
totally.
I won't tempt you, but it is a great figure out of the box. I mean, it just. The way that they did the jaw articulation on all the Super Colossal, where you can kind of make the lower jaw open and the upper jaw open, with the Indominus, you can really get that like signature, like super wide roar that looks just
nice.
Terrifying. I love that. I just love that figure. It's such a good one. I used to hide my Super Colossal sort of behind my TV in my collection room, but out with the TV. Now that space is like just Super Colossal on display, and I like being able to see that Indominus Rex because it is an awesome figure.
It looks fantastic. I mean, it's no joke. It looks like the Maquette, or it looks so screen accurate, and
yeah. That's exactly what I've been saying. It's like it looks like you'd like have it on set for reference. It's just very nice.
If they could go back and do another T-Rex looking as good as this Indominus looks, I would buy it again.
Yeah. And that just goes to show, I mean, let's credit where credit's due, how like great Mattel has been doing, just improving and improving. Because when the Super Colossal T-Rex came out, it was incredible. Like it was like, oh my gosh, this looks insane how like just how faithful it is to the movie. And now we're looking at it like next to the Indominus. It's like, oh, well, this could be better because the Indominus is just so good. It's amazing.
Yeah, like if they took the epic Roarin sculpt and blew it up to Super Colossal size, you'd have a lot of really nice detail to look at.
Yeah, exactly. It's that detail, I think, and I think what's cool about Indominus as a character design is it is a toy that you can realize without spending a lot on your paint budget because there's some subtle gray kind of airbrush on this Super Colossal figure, but other than that, you didn't have to go too far with the paint to make it just perfect.
No, it's a work of art. It truly is.
Yeah. It is. A couple other things that I tracked down, non-toy related, but I'm still kind of stoked to talk about. I signed up for the Loot Crate. I think it was a couple months ago. For this month, and it had a Jurassic Park messenger bag on it. You can check it out on my Instagram. But I'm excited. Like this year's been the year of like Jurassic Park throwback merchandise, like new merchandise that's throwing back at Jurassic Park. And this messenger bag was just super cool because it's got like this awesome National Park-esque patch on it.
Yes.
It's got like the stripe that says like 18 that's from like the Jeeps. So it kind of just reminded me of like a bag that like maybe like every Jeep had, standard issue, that like the workers used, when they were toting something from the Jeep. I don't know, just world building in my head, but I love the bag. I had to get it. I got all this other random stuff I don't need from the Loot Crate, but worth it for the messenger bag. And the other thing that I just got today that I haven't even opened yet, but I'm so excited to like dig into it. I'm not going to like keep it immaculate in the box. I'm totally going to take everything out. Is this Dr. Collector Jurassic Park welcome kit. They've done a bunch of these kits. I'm sure you've seen them here and there, but this one's awesome. It's yellow, which is my favorite color, and it has a floppy disk inside. I'm so excited.
Yeah, it's a really cool bag. I love the national park look that it has.
Yeah.
And, it's nice to see like these peripheral sorts of collectibles that are outside what we normally collect.
Right.
Because they really supplement the collection in fun ways sometimes.
Yeah, they really do. And I just like sort of the in-universe kind of stuff, It's like, when we were kids collecting Jurassic, the role-playing stuff we bought was like the dart guns and like the wallet ID, park ticket kind of thing. Like, and that's kind of, to me, the adult extension of that is this kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And the Dr. Collector kits, I mean, they've had a few and they've even done a Jurassic Park one, but what always keeps me from getting into them is they always kind of like mix up and kind of into one kind of ugly sort of combination, like Jurassic World and Jurassic Park,
Mm-hmm.
like it'll be Jurassic Park, but like the T-Rex is clearly from Jurassic World. I don't like that, but this new kit they did is like purely Jurassic Park. And again, the floppy disk was just an excellent touch. So I don't even really know what else is inside of it. I just know that was like the main thing. So I'll probably open it up on YouTube here in a little bit because I'm excited about it.
Yeah, it is exciting stuff.
So I mean, I think that's kind of the end for like Jurassic stuff, but I mean, you and me both, Victoria, but way more you. I mean, you've been probably buying a lot of other toys for Star Wars because it's just like it's Star Wars season.
It's Star Wars season. Mandalorian is back in full force, and we're all here for it.
Yeah.
They're having Mando Mondays, soliciting new product releases and announcements, and of course the show. So we're just super hyped and jazzed about the Mandalorian and Star Wars, and there's been a lot of product coming out this fall for Star Wars. So it's been a little bit, that's where my attention's been mostly focused, is just trying to figure out all this weird Star Wars stuff, like the holiday troopers, for example, that are just so weird but kind of necessary.
Yeah, no, and we promise not to make a Star Wars segment on this show, but I feel like I had to mention it because it's like, we haven't done the show in a month. We haven't added a lot of toys to our collection, and it's kind of a mixture of things, but really, like, as collectors, it's like there's other stuff that kind of catches your eye every once in a while, and like, yeah, right now Star Wars, Mandalorian are definitely like competing always with Jurassic for me, but I'm always tuned into Jurassic too.
Of course we are. All right, so as we head over to our Around the Jurassic World segment, we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in the world of Jurassic. Tim, Camp Cretaceous Season 2 has been formally announced last month. We have a brand new Netflix trailer for Season 2, and it's dropping a lot sooner than we might have expected, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, I don't think we have a confirmed date, but I think like it's probably going to be in the next couple months into 2021, just to kind of keep that momentum going from the show, obviously. But again, like as we'll talk about in a second, plans for Jurassic are kind of all up in the air right now. But this new trailer is awesome. I mean, the first trailers they did for the first season, I think the first one was a teaser trailer, and it was like, mixed feelings. The second trailer was really good. But this trailer for season 2, I mean, it packs in the excitement, and it packs in the dinosaur species too.
It is awesome. Brand new species, Ceratosaurus. This is the first that we've seen Ceratosaurus since JP3, isn't it?
Right, exactly. And we kind of thought it would be coming because there was a toy set of it that came out in limited capacity, so it seemed like it was like meant for the show, but it didn't show up. But here it is in the season 2 trailer. So one of the things I like about the trailer is that it sort of like sets up a tone a little bit when it starts about like this abandoned theme park now.
Mm-hmm.
You have like the gyrosphere broken with the compies in it. I mean, that's just that, I love that imagery, aside from just like action and character moments. Like, I just love that imagery.
Yeah, very reminiscent of Fallen Kingdom when we got those trailers, showing the park, just kind of destroyed.
Right.
It'll be interesting to see what happens because the kids are still out there and all by themselves, on this island in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
And, you have all these dinosaurs running loose. And, just as with season 1, it looks fantastic. Like the visuals, the colors, everything looks stunning in this trailer.
Totally. I'm really excited to just see where they go. Like, I'd love to see like some like Robinson Crusoe sort of like homestead they've built or something, or like kind of how they're getting by, maybe how they're trying to like signal for help. Maybe they have like, help spelled out on Main Street. I don't know. I mean, there's just so many cool ways they could go, because they're obviously, abandoned on this island waiting for rescue. And I also wonder how it kind of ladders up to Fallen Kingdom as well, in terms of, we know what happened in that movie and all that. Like, there's sort of a time limit on this story, if you will, with the volcano erupting.
Yeah. No, I think in Fallen Kingdom, that was how many years? How long after?
I think it was like 2 or 3 years. I guess I don't expect the kids to survive on. Maybe, who knows, man? Maybe they just really adapt and start, hunting Gallimimus. Who knows? I mean,
I think it's going to follow up pretty quickly after the first season, because it seems like in that shot with the Rex, walking down Main Street, there's still like tables and umbrellas
still
up,
fresh destruction. Yeah.
So yeah.
And it's nice to see that maybe Rex will actually be in this season.
Oh, I know. That was an interesting thing, but when you think back on it,
makes sense.
Yeah, it makes sense for the story they went with. She wasn't really missed.
Right. And she's dead now, right? I mean, she got pulled into the lagoon by the Mosasaurus, so makes sense she wouldn't be showing up here very much. Little less joyous news in the world of Jurassic is Dominion, the third film in the Jurassic World trilogy, since we last recorded, did officially get delayed until 2022.
Yeah, so this isn't too surprising.
Right.
A lot of films have been postponed and delayed, and at the very least, this film was received a lot of press because it was like the first big budget film to go back into production following the pandemic, and that in and of itself is seems like quite an accomplishment.
It was, it was definitely one of the last films to kind of delay, too, if you think about it. Like, all these other movies all around it, all the summer blockbusters for 2021 were getting pushed back, but, like, Dominion was just forging ahead, like, we're coming out. And then all of a sudden, they were, they obviously pushed it back, which makes sense. I think there's, like, a crucial point where I was selfishly myself concerned with like merchandise and all that stuff. It's like if they don't cancel, or if they wait too long to delay, like it's going to be a mess. And it kind of already is a mess. But as Jurassic fans who want to enjoy the movie coming out and enjoy everything that comes with that, I mean, yeah, it's definitely kind of a huge sigh of relief, because we want to enjoy it. We don't want to be like renting it on iTunes.
Yeah, no, it's something we definitely want to experience on the big screen, just like the previous Jurassic films from the past 25 plus years. So here's hoping that by 2022, things will be normalized for the most part. So
I hope so. I mean, it's certainly another year for the film industry and everything to adapt in any case. But and for us Jurassic fans, it's another year of just not just waiting, but another year of probably content. I mean, we didn't know what the next step was after Dominion. As far as we knew, the sort of renaissance for Jurassic movies was over this summer, but now we get to wait another year, to kind of see where that all wraps up and what's next. So another year of Jurassic. I'm sure there'll be some Camp Cretaceous, a season or two to tide us over. So
there'll be that.
Still something to look forward to.
There'll be toys. There's plenty to keep us busy. It's a good time to appreciate what we have. We've built up these large collections based on Jurassic World that Mattel has blessed us with for the past couple of years. But Dominion also just finished shooting, didn't it?
Right. And so, I mean, even though they delayed, they still obviously had a schedule to stick to as far as that production element. And it's only good that they've kind of wrapped up on time, and now they have all this time to spend on, spend on post-production effects and whatever they need to do to tighten this up to be, the great film it needs to be. And probably on the flip side of just everything going on in the film industry, it's like, I'm sure Universal really needs this to be a smash hit. And I hope that they really take the time to, tailor it to be a perfect film as much as it can be as a summer blockbuster. I mean, I don't expect this to be, Schindler's List over here or something, but I want it to be a good movie. And I'm not going to talk trash about the other films, but I'd like it to be, a really good movie if it could be.
Yeah. This delay, is certainly, it can certainly give them the capacity to make it a better film. Like you said, not just technologically speaking with post-production and making things look better than they've ever looked before, but also in terms of, ironing out maybe the kinks in the story and just making it an all-around better film. So.
Exactly. I mean, I'm sure you're familiar with just the backstory of Star Wars and sort of like the metamorphosis that some of those films went in the editing room as far as like, tone and story. It's kind of incredible what they can do with a film after it's already wrapped, like sort of filming, but from that point on, how they can change a movie and how it comes together. So they have all the time in the world to work on that with Dominion. Right.
Yeah, it'll once we finally get this movie, it'll be worth the wait, I'm sure.
Yes. All right, we're coming back to one of my favorite segments on the show, and we don't always hit it up every time, but I'm always excited to talk about our collector survival guide, which is really just, our tips and tricks, our best practices. We're not experts, but, we're definitely been in this game a long time, so always happy to sort of offer our point of view on things. And today we are going to talk about selling, when it's time to sell. For a variety of reasons. Maybe you just have an item and you don't want it anymore and you want to get rid of it. Or maybe you have an item that is worth a lot of money and you need to buy a new fridge. I don't know. There's always going to be, when you're a big collector, there's always going to be a time where you need to get rid of something in your collection. Yeah. And, it's not as easy as saying like, well, just always go to eBay. I mean, there's a lot of different stuff you can do.
Yeah, totally. And I think to understand why you would need to get rid of things, I think, let's talk a little bit about how you end up with so much in the first place. I know that for me personally, Tim, there's times where, whether it's online or in store, you get these insane like markdowns on certain items. And yeah, things are just too good to pass up. A T-Rex for $10. Yeah.
Right.
I mean, there's deals, and we love a lot of these toys so much that when we do see these deals, we feel the need to buy extras. And, why? I don't know. Maybe I'm going to repaint it one day. Yeah, right. Maybe I'm going to, want an extra for toy photography because I'm going to go on this trip and take it with me. Yeah, right. Doesn't always happen. We have, fill in the blank. But, the fact is that, these markdowns do happen and we do accumulate extra toys.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, and even this without the whole sort of, it's cheap, so I'm going to buy it. But sometimes I'll just buy something because I like a figure so much. Parasaurolophus is a great example. I don't even have the other one I bought open, but I'm just like, it's great. I don't know when it'll be around again or if it'll come around with colors that I like. So I'm going to buy an extra. So there's so many reasons to buy extra figures, or there's so many reasons to have the figures you want and then still be out of room. I mean, not everybody has a collection room. Some people are just, putting it in their bedroom or, hiding it in the basement. So you're always going to be running out of room. We've obviously talked about storage at length in a previous episode, but at some point you're going to have to get rid of this stuff. And there's depending on what it is, there's a couple ways to do it, and I think I have kind of noted here about purging. I think that's something you and me both do. I know there's probably an approach where you're always keeping tabs in your collection and you're always keeping it kind of thinned out to where it needs to be, but I don't do that. I just let things pile up, and then one day I'm like, I need to sell a pile of stuff.
Yeah, that's the problem. I mean, with this line, it's so easy to because there's so much product. And, if you're completing the entire line, I mean, you're already, just buying one of each, you're already going to have tons and tons of toys.
Right.
But then you get into things like herd building. You get into things like, having one open and one in package. And, that just really adds onto this. It's for most people, it's probably not very feasible to do that. I mean, even if you are buying like one of each, So, yeah, and it's not just Jurassic. A lot of us collect different things as well in addition to Jurassic. And,
right.
Sometimes, yeah, we need to sit back and kind of analyze and assess, what we have and, think about our storage space. And you're right. We did talk about that pretty in depth in a previous episode, like different
Yeah.
ways to store your stuff. But that only goes so far. I mean, if you have, like a wealth of toys that are just kind of piling up, like you're saying, sometimes you got to make some hard decisions.
Mm-hmm. Right. Exactly. And the good old days, I mean, your go-to was always just eBay. Like, I'm just going to go to eBay and sell this. But now, I mean, we live in this day and age of social media and toy communities, toy collecting communities. And that's like a great outlet, not just for finding toys you need, but getting rid of toys that you don't need,
Yep.
and helping other collectors out, and sort of cutting out the middleman of eBay with its fees and all that stuff. And eBay to me has become such a chore sometimes that it's just nice to find someone who like wants to buy my figure for the exact cost that I paid for it, and is willing to pay shipping. And then like it's just so much simpler sometimes to sort of either make that private connection or get on one of these Facebook groups and just sort of say, I have X, Y, and Z for sale. This is the cost, and people jump on it as long as you're, you're kind of going by a fair price or for market price, or a lot of times just cost for a lot of these more common toys. You can really kind of get your monies back pretty quickly in those situations.
Yeah, I mean, there's plenty of ways to do it. Thankfully, we're all very connected on social media as well.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm sure you've seen like once in a while I'll post something on my Instagram and, just say, hey, here's a picture of all these extra toys I have. If you want them, send me a message.
Right.
And
it's a great way to do it.
Yeah. And then you can just work out, a price and, shipping and all that. And, sometimes you sell stuff, sometimes you don't. But, it's an extra avenue for which to do that. And, like you say, there's eBay, there's Amazon, there's different, this isn't like 10 years ago. I mean, we have like a lot of other options outside of eBay to part with stuff.
And I've been using Mercari a lot. I mean, I like sing that app's praises wherever I go. I was actually just talking to my friend today about it at work. He has a PS4 he wants to sell, and I was like, Mercari, because I just love it. I sold on eBay since I was like 12, basically. Like I got really into it when I was younger, collecting Jurassic, not just buying, but selling my older toys. I sold so many toys on there that I regret selling. I can't even begin. I could do a whole episode about toys I regret selling on eBay. But Mercari is really cool. It's just such a simple, sort of streamlined eBay, in that I don't know. I just like how simple it is. You don't have to take a bunch of pictures. You don't have to write a novel about your item. But it's not like auction, I guess. So it's a little different. I mean, and that's kind of where we can talk about, maybe you have an item that's very valuable and it's valuable and you want to make sure you're getting that value for it. And then you have options. Not always the best to, sell that privately at that point, because you could have something that could be worth even more than you think it is.
Right. And, that's where things like eBay's completed listings come in handy.
Right.
Check out, see, what has this been selling for recently? What's the market value?
Right.
And then, use that as a tool to, to price your toys or, whatever it is you're selling.
Yeah, and you could do an auction and kind of let it bid up to what you think it should be, or you can do a buy it now, or maybe something with like best offers, or another kind of thing that's been real popular, getting more popular on eBay. And I know Mercari really thrives on best offers as well. But I mean, it's kind of easier than ever to sort of to sort of part ways with your stuff, I guess, through all these different apps and sort of platforms. There's just so many different ways that you can sell stuff. So don't feel like you need to sell it at a garage sale for 25 cents, I guess.
Right. Totally. Take advantage of those services, do a little bit of research, investigate, talk to people. And, you're bound to find some, be honest, don't say something's in mint condition if the box is like ripped open or something,
Exactly.
Be thorough, especially on eBay. That's something you got to be pretty specific about. People want to make sure that the item they're going to receive is what is shown in the picture, not a stock photo. I mean, I know when it's me, I always want to see exactly what I'm getting. I don't want to have any surprises when it shows up. And I've spent, X amount of money to buy a sought after item from 10 years ago that, I missed out on. So.
Right. Yeah. I could probably do a whole essay on like my personal sort of approach to selling and how I set up my listings and how I communicate things. But people, you'll all find what works best for you. But
yeah,
it's definitely not as daunting as you'd think, kind of getting into that space of selling stuff. But as far as, doing it for, anything other than just kind of managing your collection, that's kind of where I draw the line. Because it when you collect as many toys as we do, it's like that keeps you busy enough, sort of kind of maintaining a healthy level of items without getting overwhelmed.
Right. And I think that's key. And I think it's really important to, before you start to collect, to have a focus, to know, your budget, know your space, know what it is that you're really passionate about. Because I know it's really easy to get swept up into these other things that maybe we're not necessarily super excited about, but everybody else is buying them. So we feel like, and this goes back to something that, Dan of Toy Galaxy said on YouTube. I'm a huge fan of Toy Galaxy and their videos and content, and he's been on Cantina Chatter. And one of the videos he did about, focusing your collection was, he said one of the most dangerous things about social media is fear of missing out. People that buy collections and, they collect certain things, and they learn about these other items that everybody else is buying, but if you don't buy it, you're going to miss out. But then the problem with that is there's always going to be that next toy line that people are hyped about. And so that's where it comes into, don't fall into, I have to buy it just because, my buddy on Twitter is buying it. Know what you're passionate about, know what you're excited about, talk to other people, and, just maintain that focus. And I think that as time goes on, I'm getting that, more and more. I'm kind of realizing that, I need to be a little more focused.
Right. I feel like sometimes this is just therapy for us, talking through our toy piling up tendencies. But you're totally right. And I know every time we have this collector survival guide and we're sort of like, doling out our approach to it, our perspective, it always comes back to that, like, focus on what makes you happy. Don't just focus on like the compulsive act of collecting. Right. Yeah. And yeah, it's like, that's where sort of this particular segment about selling, it's like, don't let your, and I'm speaking from personal experience, like, don't let your sort of your shrine or your like your happy place of collecting, which is usually like a physical shelf or desk or whatever, like, don't let that become so overcrowded with stuff that you're buying that you can't even enjoy it anymore, like, and I that happens to me. I'm not even saying that I'm like I've risen above that, but that's kind of like my tipping point where it's like I can't even like enjoy what this is supposed to be because I have so much stuff.
Exactly.
It's time to purge. It's time to get rid of it, and it's time to help other collectors out. It's not like it's a negative thing that you don't want these anymore. And I mean, you probably got some sort of emotional use out of buying it and enjoying it, and now you're selling it. So I kind of look at it like that. As long as I'm not buying something for $1,000 and selling it for 50, it's no harm, no foul.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it is a form of therapy. There's things that I've bought. I know earlier this year, you and I were really excited about the Alien stuff that Leonard was putting out, and the Batman stuff, the 3 3/4 inch line that Spin Master was putting out, and I bought them. I did reviews. I checked them out, and I got my fun out of that. Just checking them out. I love toys just in general, and I was happy to be able to pass them on afterwards. So
exactly, I did the same thing with the Godzilla vs. Kong. It's like I bought them knowing full well that I like wasn't gonna love these forever, but it's like I checked them out, I got what I needed, I spent $40, and then I sent them on their way. It was worth it. Yeah,
totally. But yeah, I think that's it is something that I think about a lot more as I get older. It's I just kind of managing it a little bit better. Like my collection is like my refuge. It's like my coming into my office room, like seeing my toys, my being here on the computer talking to you about toys, and that's my hobby. That's what I enjoy doing, making the videos and all that. And I want it to continue to be something that I love. Whenever you get to that point where it's something that's causing you more distress than enjoyment, then I think that's when you really need to consider whether or not it's a hobby that you want to continue pursuing. And we got to be careful not to get to that point by being very mindful of what we collect, how we collect, and making sure that we're very focused, because with toy collecting, it's very easy to lose sight of budgets, to lose sight of space, and and like any habit that becomes a bad habit, that can also affect relationships. So we definitely don't want to get to that point.
Exactly. I feel like toy collecting is just like you're always dancing on the razor thin edge of hoarding things that you don't really need. So always trying to keep that in perspective about like, this makes me happy and that's why I'm keeping it, and I'm not just keeping it to keep it. So again, this segment is always just sort of therapy, at least for me. So
no, it is.
Yeah. And it's always interesting to sort of hear other collectors and their point of view, and you really come to find out that we're all very much in the same mindset about this stuff, which is always interesting to me.
Yeah, I mean, these are real issues that I think any serious toy collector is going to come across. They're very real things. Budget, space, family, and time management, things like that. So,
totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what we'll tackle next, but maybe we'll next time when we're going through our sort of our guide to sort of managing our collection, we'll have some real breakthroughs, some real emotional revelations, and it'll really get some answers.
Yeah, a little more toy wisdom to impart, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so every now and then we like to talk to other collectors. We like to hear their point of view. How did they get started with Jurassic? What was it about the films or the toys that sucked them into, this hobby that we all have and love? And, we're here for, it all goes back, of course, to the genesis of it all, Jurassic Park, the novel, the film.
Yeah.
And Tim and I like to spotlight people that are positive forces in our Jurassic World collecting community. And we felt that one of those people, whom we follow on Twitter, is Genozoic. He always keeps his content positive. He keeps his interactions very delightful, very upbeat. He's a joy to chat with. So we reached out to him and asked if he wanted to tell us a little bit about his first visit to Jurassic Park. And here's what he had to say.
Hello to Victoria and Tim of Collect Jurassic World, and to all my fellow Down Trackers. I'm Genozoic, and I've been a Jurassic Park fan and collector since I first saw the movie back in 1993. I do remember a time before Jurassic Park. This was a time where dinosaurs in the present day was only in shows such as Denver the Last Dinosaur, 1991's Land of the Lost, and when genetically engineered dinosaurs was just the scheme of Cobra Commander and G.I. Joe. Seriously, look it up, they did it first. Most important to me were the Dalmatian events I went to at various zoos in Michigan. This was the only way I could see these animals in person. Then that all changed. I saw a teaser for a movie. There was a dark room with lab equipment, the shot continuously zooming in on a piece of amber. Inside, there was a mosquito. A narrator explained in 1990 they discovered dinosaur DNA was still in that mosquito, and from it they were able to resurrect the dinosaurs. He said all that happened at a place called Jurassic Park. I had to see this movie. This was back when if they wanted to keep a movie secret, it was secret. There was a novel, but I wouldn't even know about it until after the movie came out. So my only spoilers about the movie came from Mark Sutzman's awesome art on the McDonald's cups. And it was horribly misleading to me. I still remember thinking how the Velociraptor cup was depicted in an attack of some sort outside of a parking lot. But in June of 1993, on opening day, I finally got to see the movie. And when I first saw the Brachiosaurus on the screen, I cried. They were immense. I never imagined they looked so beautiful, so realistic. And like Dr. Grant, seeing these titans move in herds was radical, simply radical. More so, this movie took all those experiences I had at the Dinimation exhibits, and while putting them to shame, it said that maybe one day I could be seeing these dinosaurs in person, alive at a zoo. Constant begging got me into the theaters 2 more times. Then, like everyone else, I had to wait just shy of 16 gnarly months for the movie to come out in VHS. Yeah, the wait was that long. Luckily, Jurassic Park was everywhere in 93 and 94. Raptor Bites Jawbreakers candies with Crash McCreary's artwork on the box, plastic eggs that had small dinosaur toys, Topps comic books and collectible cards, the Sega Genesis game, Trapper Keepers, and of course the Kenner Jurassic Park toys. My first toys were the young Tyrannosaurus Rex complete with dino damage, and with it, its first foe, the electronic screaming Velociraptor. Next was Dennis Nedry, partly because the little Dilophosaurus hatchling, mostly because you could rip his arms off. By the end of my 9th birthday in 93, I had the entire first wave of toys. Even the Command compound, which I still have to this day. I have no idea how my family was able to. We were far from rich, but somehow they managed to give me my very own Jurassic Park. From then on, that's what the toys were to me. They were the sequel to the movie, a return to Jurassic Park and the countless stories that came with them. While at school, I had my Velociraptor hatchling, keeping it close after it imprinted upon me. That's right, I trained Velociraptors 22 years before Owen Grady. At home, I managed my toy Jurassic Park, sending out the JP team with eventually the new edition of the Dino Trackers on missions to maintain the integrity of the park and its animals. I read any book I could on animal behavior, the management of zoos, whatever could help expand my knowledge of the park. For the park. You know how the typical Trekkie can tell you any detail of a Federation starship? I can tell you what my park fed the Triceratops. Cornmeal bricks, in case anybody's curious. My Velociraptors never broke out. John Hammond explained how they imprinted on the first person they saw. My family raised and rescued birds. We had an umbrella cockatoo. I knew how powerful that bond could be. In my toy park, much like while I was at school, I was the Velociraptor handler. There was no Jurassic Park cartoon for some bizarre reason. So aside from the comic books, this was my only Jurassic Park story. It wasn't perfect. Tim Murphy was always on the search for his sister Lex, who he could never find. Thanks a lot, Kenner. But what was great about it was the fact that they didn't abandon the park and its dinosaurs. They didn't bomb the island out of existence like in the novel. Life found a way. Then in 1997, The Lost World all but confirmed there would be no official return to Jurassic Park. I sometimes feel bad when I talk about The Lost World with other fans. Don't get me wrong, I love the film, but I tend to be fairly harsh on it. I love the location, the dinosaurs, the lore, but this was the movie that said Jurassic Park could never be. As such, all the new Kenner Lost World toys I added to my collection, they were treated as part of the reopening of the factory floor. As far as my own stories were concerned, The Lost World just happened differently. A couple of years later, I moved across country, from Michigan to Idaho, and unfortunately a great deal of my Jurassic Park toys were somehow lost. Along with the fact that I was now a teenager, I didn't do so much collecting, and I wasn't playing with my Jurassic Park toys like I used to. I bought a Chaos Effect Amargus Spinus and a Rolling Tempo action figure for that Ultimasaurus hatchling, but by the time the Jurassic Park 3 hit theaters, I didn't really buy anything else. As such, I missed out on a lot of the new releases. Heck, I didn't even know about half of them. Going into college, I had to watch my money, so I kept telling myself that after I graduated, I would build my collection back. And with no new movies or projects, it was fairly easy to resist collecting. And then in 2015, 14 years after Jurassic Park 3, Jurassic World finally came out. And I was hooked. They had trained velociraptors, just like I imagined when I was a kid, just like what was in the Topps comic books. The park had also been safely operating for over 10 years. Take that, Dr. Malcolm. That was only ruined after they brought a bit of the Chaos Effect toy line into play with the Indominus Rex. While the animal was no Ultimasaurus, I absolutely loved how all the same mistakes they made with raising the velociraptors in the first movie came back to bite them with the Indominus Rex enclosure. They probably should have consulted their velociraptor handler much earlier. Let's face it, there was no way I was going to be drawn back into collecting just yet. Kenner was out of the picture for some time, and Hasbro was now making the toys. All that world building that had been done in the 90s was nowhere to be found. They did explore the concept of more hybrids, but most of the sculpts just looked ridiculous. After seeing the Dilophosaurus Rex, which should have been the coolest hybrid toy ever made, I decided I didn't need any of them. Ultimately, it was the online Jurassic Park community that drew me back in. YouTube showed me through their algorithmic recommendations Matthew Brando's and Victoria's channels. Then I started looking and I found podcasts like the Jurassic Park podcast and a active, thriving Twitter community. It didn't take me long before I was looking everywhere, online and around town, to rebuild my Jurassic Park collection. It's been over 2 years since Mattel started their Jurassic World toy line. There's been some major missteps along the way, and I think they're nuts for not including hatchlings with the human figures or capture gear with the dinosaurs and vehicles. But it's certainly impressive what they have done. I know 8-year-old me would be jealous to see a 2-scale Brachiosaurus on my shelf. I've enjoyed tracking down so many of these toys, helping others do the same, and hearing about them as fellow dino trackers. I know I gotta wrap this up. For me, these toys have always been a sort of Zen garden. It's where I can let myself believe that there really is a dinosaur zoo. The dinosaurs were never monsters. Even how the velociraptors acted in the first movie as unrelenting killers was because of the choices we made as people to treat them as such. When people hear Dr. Malcolm talk, they just hear how Jurassic Park is folly. When I heard him talk, coupled with Dr. Sattler's reprimand of Hammond over ice cream, I understood it as a lack of respect for what they had. They had living animals, and they would defend themselves if mistreated. But I imagine what would happen if you treated them right. That's my dream, Jurassic Park. Thank you all for listening. I could talk about Jurassic Park for hours, but I'll have to leave it here on a quote from one of my other favorite movies. Be excellent to each other. Genozoic out.
Thank you for listening. I'm Victoria.
And I'm Tim. And for even more Jurassic collecting info, please check us out online. You can visit our official website, collectjurassic.com. And we're also on social media at collectjurassic on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Also be sure to check out our YouTube channel at youtube.com/collectjurassic.
And you can find me by visiting the Victoria's Cantina YouTube channel. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Victoria's Cantina, and on Twitter at Vic's Cantina. You can also find the Cantina Chatter podcast as well as the Discoveryland show wherever you listen to podcasts.
And if you're listening through Apple Podcasts, please make sure to leave us a 5-star rating and an excellent review. Those are the park rules.
You can also get in touch with us by sending a message to the Fax Machine. That's collectjurassic@gmail.com.
So thank you for visiting, and we hope you've enjoyed your trip to the park.
Ladies and gentlemen, the park is closed. Please make your way towards the East Dock. We hope you'll book a return visit for another adventure into Collect Jurassic World. So what happens when Mattel Jurassic World dinosaurs escape? Tim, you're going to tell us a little bit. That was terrible.
Yeah.